Oh, and the 10-man bull rushing gallows.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. Pro wrestlers vary in sizing quite a bit. Pro wrestlers can also perform insane feats of athleticism, showmanship, and intense fighting prowess. You know what other sport fits that bill? Mixed martial arts. If you're a UFC fan, feel free to hop over and subscribe to our new channel, Watch MMA, where you can check out all sorts of great top 10 lists and fighter highlight videos. Also, we're giving away a bunch of $50 Amazon gift cards over on Watch MMA, so go check us out and subscribe to win. Professional wrestlers can vary on a scale of Hornswoggle to Great Khali and beyond in each direction. Even in a brand new promotion like All Elite Wrestling, you've got a sizing scale all the way from Lance Archer to Marco Stunt. Ironically, a match that just happened and gave us the murder of Marco Stunt. Some wrestlers naturally have that height, but the muscle can make all the difference. I'm D Wicket, and here's 10 of the most significant WWE body transformations. Number 10. Edge. On this day, I can clearly see that Adam Copeland put in a hell of a lot of work for this 2020 return to the ring. And great for him. Imagine doing what you love for 20 years straight only for it to one day just be ripped away from you out of absolutely nowhere. And then have to stay away from that thing you love for almost an entire decade. After 9 long years out of action, Edge finally was cleared and popped up in the 2020 Royal Rumble looking legitimately better than he ever had in his life. Edge always excelled as an in-ring worker and especially as a promo and a character, but his physique was never, really anything to talk up, especially in the slightly dad-bodish later years. Once you get your hands on that thing you love again, though, you work your ass off for it, and that is clearly what Adam Copeland decided to do once Edge was cleared for the return.
9 years, Edge looked great.
McIntyre bounced off the knee of Edge, and Edge now in position again with a spear to McIntyre.
Number 9, Drew McIntyre. And speaking of leaving WWE television for a while only to come back looking better than ever, the Scottish psychopath, everybody. Drew McIntyre was brought into WWE as the literal chosen one, a gimmick in which Vince McMahon in kayfabe handpicked Drew to be a prodigy of sorts and essentially promised that he'd be a future WWE champion, which was weird. Weird, but he was right. It would just, take a decade plus for that prediction to come to fruition. After about a year, it was pretty clear McIntyre wasn't ready for the spotlight, and by 2013, he was stuck as a 3MB member, the lowest of possible lows. Drew left the company, basically being told to go find yourself, and damn did he find himself, coming back to WWE years later with not just some crucial facial hair, but a 180 from Chubbs McGee to one of the most imposing figures on the roster today.
Now he's ready to vanquish the beast.
Lesnar!
Number 8, Bray Wyatt. He's got the whole world asking why the f Goldberg beat him at Saudi Arabia. Irrelevant to the video, but always something to complain about. I digress. Bray Wyatt debuted in 2013 as the spooky cult leader from the backwoods and would spend the next 5 years facing some of the most bizarrely inconsistent and horribly bad booking imaginable. The one consistent was how he looked, and I'm not even talking about his wardrobe because even that changed a handful of times. I literally mean how he as a human being looked. Bray came in during a time where the bigger yet agile guys like him and Kevin Owens were a little bit more openly acceptable, so Bray never really felt the necessity to drop the pounds. But once he became the Fiend, he has had a noticeable droppage ever since last April.
Sister Abigail.
Number 7, Sheamus. Shamo happens to run himself a YouTube channel fully dedicated to not just his own workouts, but the exercise of choice for whichever guest he has on the show, usually a fellow wrestler. And it's a good thing he does because Sheamus looks better now than he ever has in his life. His early run always painted him as this bruising, badass, Irish, just wanna fight ya kind of lad, but the fella didn't fully look that part. Over the last few years, however, Sheamus has really toned those muscles and gotten into a position that airplane seats probably quiver at when given the sight of him.
Sheamus has talked a lot in recent weeks about the, quote, lesser men who are now running Friday Night SmackDown.
Number 6, Rusev. How weird is it that during the time of Rusev's career that he gets in the best shape of his life is also the time in his career where he's getting cucked out to Bobby Lashley. Poor Ruru, he really is one of the more endearing wrestlers on the roster, but once again, they throw him into a nonsensical storyline and make him look like a geek, only for Rusev to naturally get over massive with the crowd, which he always does, only for WWE to take him off television like they always do. Seriously, why did he even bother getting into the shape of his life? Did Rusev just want to appeal to the other companies who might want to pick up a brute in the coming months? I have no idea, but once again, Rusev shines and the company shoots a star in the back.
Turns to anger.
The rage of Rusev here tonight. Sent into the barricade.
Number 5, Chris Jericho. How odd is it that after Jericho makes lists like these for gaining a ridiculous amount of belly fat and turning full dad bod, he's now making the list for 180ing that and starting to trim the pounds. My dad actually hates the fact that Jericho gains so much weight, but I've always defended it, believing the extra weight to be a legitimately great heel shtick to make him that much more of a hateable jackass. And according to the man himself, I was apparently right on the money, and now that his AEW World Championship reign has come to an end and Jericho can't just coast by on inner circle shenanigans to retain a world title, he has noticeably started shedding the pounds and cutting back on that bubbly in order to get his figure back down. He is nowhere near peak physique Jericho, and I really doubt that's his plans anyway, but for Jericho managing to gain heel heat by gaining weight and then becoming legitimately more menacing via losing said weight, that's pretty great.
Vanguard 1. I knew you'd come.
Number 4, The Undertaker. Gong! Is the American Badass seriously about to roll around for WrestleMania season? Well, it sure as hell's starting to look like it, as we're just a day or so away from the strangest WrestleMania in the pay-per-view's history. The Undertaker will be taking on AJ Styles in a boneyard match, whatever the f that means. And despite his age really starting to get up there, this one could realistically be pretty damn good. The Undertaker hasn't had a good match since 2015, but despite the booking of this really weird feud being a steaming pile, to be fair, I've got some hopes. Not only is he facing AJ Styles, the man who once carried Jinder Mahal through a watchable encounter, but Taker's gotten himself into the best shape he's been in for years, maybe the last decade. Thanks to help from old Michelle McCool, Undertaker has more investment in his health than ever before, so let's see if that helps him bring the goods and put on a good show heading into this 4th decade of active competition.
Oh, and the 10-man bull rushing gallows.
Number 3, Enzo Amore. What the hell happened here? Enzo has one of the most interesting, intriguing, fascinating what the f stories of any wrestler to be on the roster for only a couple of years. Usually, only being on the roster for a couple of years and then leaving is the sign that someone isn't really making that big of a splash and they're quietly going to exit the company to little or no response. Enzo... he stirred the pot numerous times for pissing off just about the entire WWE locker room, being the tipping point that turned Neville back into Pac and getting hit with allegations that sent him packing his bags. He then continued the pot stirring through shenanigans such as showing up at a WWE pay-per-view and getting ejected, trashing the company and multiple wrestlers, doing a similar stunt to the WWE pay-per-view show up, which actually turned out to be an angle in Ring of Honor with former partner Big Cass, and releasing rap? Okay. And now he looks like this? Jesus, Enzo, you've had a unique few years.
Every L I take, every tweet I track, every path I make, every road leads back to a place I know where I cannot go, the WWE.
Number 2, Andrade. The current United States champion is the only champion not defending his title at WrestleMania, and I'm not really sure why. He got suspended back in January for violating the wellness policy, but it was his first violation, and that's only 30 days. It's April. If the last time he took time off TV is anything to go off of though, he's about to come back as the sexiest man alive, as his prior time off saw the former Mr. Cien Almas walk back into the building incredibly built. Andrade of NXT, as easy as that fool is to forget, was genuinely not in great shape. US champ Andrade, however, man's got some tone to him.
Andrade trying to pick up the scraps off the distraction. They're looking for that hammerlock DDT center of the ring. Andrade.
And number 1, Brock Lesnar. What's happening to this man? First, Brock Lesnar comes out in the Royal Rumble with more belly fat than he's ever had in his life, and now he's starting to dwindle in the muscle category, the category that he dominated more than he did Undertaker at WrestleMania 30? Bork, what's wrong, man? Things not going so well now that you realized your run as WWE Champion's probably done for good? Well, whatever that reason is, Brock almost looks like he's been cutting muscle and replacing it with gasoline. Or, at least gassed is how we can accurately describe that Rumble performance.
And look at this now, Mysterio! Oh no! Eliminated! Elimination number 5 by Lesnar. Did you see that athleticism?
And those were 10 WWE body transformations. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below after liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and notifications, like that bell.